Hey traders, John Howell here. Today we're going to be looking at the stock market. Plus also, I have a pen in my hand. I have a 90-day challenge to give to every single one of you. And that's basically for the rest of this year. I want to give you a challenge that's going to 100% help you with your trading moving forward. And I guarantee it's going to help you. But first, let's get into a market update. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alright traders, market update. So the market is continuing to slide. Is it all over? Market crash? No. What the hell was that? Market crash? No. Oh, it's like something, right? Maybe I'm about to crash with that voice, right? Anyway, so guys, we're looking at the good old, by the way guys, if you need my help, I'm giving away a free trading course, link in the description, 4 phases. Phase 1, if you're losing money, you need to understand what the foundations to you actually losing money. Chart reading strategy, phase 2, trading systems, and then good old, bit of a something special, little secret sauce for phase number 4. You're gonna love it. Link in the description. Go now. Do it. All right, cool. So let's go have a look at the market. So we can see, guys, on an all serious level, on an all serious level, we are continuing to get a slide through here. Okay, we continue to get slide. We're getting a lower high, and we're sliding down, and things are looking not too good, right? If we actually go have a look at the hourly chart. And oh my goodness, and then we look at the 15-minute chart, and oh my goodness, and then we look at the 13-minute chart, and oh my goodness, and if we have a look at the 10-minute chart, oh my goodness, and if we have a look at the 5-minute chart, oh my goodness, and then if we look at the 5-minute chart, 3-minute chart, oh my goodness. Actually, I'm just joking, guys. let me share you with what I'm seeing through here. Actually, on a serious level. This is actually not looking too good, guys, for the downside on the short-term basis, okay? So we could continue to see a sliding of the markets of the downside. But never fear. The Fed is going to be here, right? They're going to do another QE, okay? So this is short-term TA. Expect a bit of a pullback, a bit of a poof, right? And then what's going to happen? Reflation, baby, reflation. Now, TA says, look at this pullback through here, right? We're definitely breaking below this major support. Look what's happening. We broke major support. Can I bring up my trend lines here? Hopefully. Trend lines here, right? Support. And now look what's happening. We're breaking down, and now we're just breaking this up. This is on the hourly chart, okay? So let's go deep, right? So we're looking at the hourly chart. So let's go deep into the 15-minute chart. And look what's happening now. We're getting a beautiful down and sideways. Here is the really interesting thing about this down and sideways pattern, right? The pattern, that's right, it's the pattern. Here's what we're looking at here, okay, guys? We've had a strong move down, and now we're developing like a bit of a bear flag formation. Now it's not definitely going to break down. Anyone that tells you that a bear flag, just like this, we go down and goes up like that. Anyone that tells you that it's definitely going to go down is wrong, okay? Because there's so many times I see the market do that, and then it just goes like that, right? Completely reverses back to the upside. We never know. That's why we wait for confirmation of the break first, okay? So important to have your setup. So this is a setup, bear flag, tick. Secondly is what? Confirmation. Confirmation is what? A breaking to the downside of a strong bar. We've had an all sideways phase here. Not much going on. Sideways, buyers are not buying it up, sellers are not buying it down. They're just sideways. And then we get a strong bar breaking down. Guess what that is? And then a continuation, right? And that's what happens if you invest in the right software. They give you a little trumpet sound as well too. They give you the trumpet sound as well too, guys. But that's what happens, right, guys? The thing there is, right, confirmation. So we're getting this sort of, we're getting that, okay? That's what we're getting. Down, down. So this is what I'm looking for, all right? If we get, this is the 15-minute chart, right? If we get a little bar like that, and then suddenly a bar like that, guess what? We're probably going to do something like that. Make sense, guys? So digging deep, going deep into the charts right now, this is the 15-minute on the S&P 500. Same for the Dow Jones. This is the Dow Jones 15-minute. Same pattern. Strong down, slow moving sideways, which is called time in the market. Okay? Not time in the market, time in... I was going to say the same thing again and again. Time in the markets. Oh, by the way, guys, have you guys... Bit of a side note. Have you guys? I just recently watching that Netflix series on SpaceX of how the four people got chosen and how they went to space for 3 days and the training they had to do. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you've actually watched that on Netflix. Really, really, really fascinating. The training they had to go to. Like, there's one lady there that experienced 8 G-forces. 8 G-forces. If you guys have actually seen my birthday video, if you haven't, I'll leave a link in the description below. Go watch that. That's with me and the jet fighter experience, and you'll be able to see I did close to 5 G-forces, and I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I was like, raw. I was gone, and I was only on it for about 20 minutes. So again, if you want some entertainment, there should be the first link in the description is the free training course. Go get that. The second link in the description is obviously going to be a link to my birthday video that I did this year and the birthday gift that I gave myself this year of me going through a jet fighter experience. So click on that, guys, and I guarantee you're going to get a bit of a laugh. And so we can see that same thing's happening with the Dow Jones and same for the Nasdaq as well too. Nasdaq gap down sideways, right? Sideways. If we look at this hourly chart once again, down, but getting a little bit of a pullback here on the hourly chart. We're going sideways. So if we start to, even on the 5-minute chart, right? Look at this here. If we start to look at this 5-minute chart on the good old Nasdaq, right? We're seeing a big move down and we're seeing an overall sideways phase through here. So looking at that, if we start to get something like this, now this is obviously the cash, the futures. What are the futures doing right now? The futures are, actually, you know what? Let me just bring this up to here so you can see where we are right now. Actually, off. There we go. All right. So the futures are at, where are the futures? They're up actually slightly. Let's have a look at the Nasdaq future. See what's actually happening with the Nasdaq futures as I'm doing this recording. Okay, so that's the 1-minute chart. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. Okay, so the futures actually looks different, doesn't it? Actually, this is actually a really good example of what I'm looking for, guys. See this move here? Let me actually take the 20 moving average off the screen there. I don't need anything else there. But this is sort of the pattern here I'm looking for, right, guys? So I'm looking for the market to move down, then to go sideways for a while, and then give me a good large breakout bar, and we're likely then see a follow through. I just gave you a powerful setup there, guys. Actually, I just basically told you how I trade the markets. But there's some finer details there, but you know that's basically what I'm looking for. That's why I'm seeing that on that there, right? What else is happening across those markets? What's going on here? Gold's actually continuing to get some weakness in it. Bitcoin's actually pretty flat. Okay. We're getting the 10-year. What's the 10-year doing right now? Getting a little bit of a pullback. Oh, actually still holding pretty strong. That big picture, by the way, guys, that big picture on the 10-year, the interest rates, is actually looking really... we may be getting a bit of a bottoming formation, a big massive rounding head and shoulder formation. People are looking at this here. So you know we've actually been in one crazy just bear market ever since the 1980s, right? Down, 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 down. We've been in this crazy bear market, but look what's happening here. This could be that final, you know, that slingshot pattern I talk about sometimes? This could be that slingshot pattern. We're getting a very big downward trend through here. So if I had like a trend line going through here somewhere, I would say. So possibly through there, maybe. Let me actually just see if I can just connect the lows. It's probably going to be through, I'd say through there, maybe, somewhere through there, right? But look what's happening here, right? If we Look, this is obviously the weekly charts on the big picture here. So we're getting this flush down, but look what's happening here, right? We get this strong move down. So you can see how we got that. We got this major support level for how many years was that? Since 2012. 12 and then came all the way back down in 16 and rallied back up and came all the way back down here, and then we flushed. And by the way, guys, actually a bit of a TA for you. If you ever see a support line like this here, I've noticed the breakouts that work really well is they get a small lower high before the breakout. What I mean by that is this: if we have a support line here, and the market comes back down and bounces up, and then comes back down and bounces up and comes back down, and then bounces up a little bit, and then just does that. See that small lower high? Just like this here, right? Small lower high, or actually big bounce, almost a bounce, definitely a big bounce. Look what happened here. Bounce, and then the breakthrough. Guess what happened? We had the big flush down, right? So it doesn't mean it's going to continue down, but it does. If you're looking for the ones that are likely to break through and run, that also works for the upside as well too, meaning that if we have a resistance level here, the market hits it, pulls back, hits it, pulls back, hits it, a little pullback, and then does that. See that higher low? See how that higher low was very strong there? That's a really good sign to see, okay, we're likely to see some movement. Because if you think about the psychology, right, even if it's, let me actually do that again here for a minute so you can see what I'm saying here. You know, just say we have a triangle pattern, right, big triangle pattern. Oh, it's going to break out, it's going to break out. This will determine whether it's going to be a strong breakout or maybe not, okay? So we have there, and then we have a higher low, and then we have a higher low, and then we have a higher low. Notice, this was the pullback, but notice how the market only pulled back a little bit and the buys came in really quickly. Think about the psychology, right? The sellers tried to read back and boom! And then the sellers came back in and they raised it really quickly, and then when they broke out, that's the part where you're likely to see big moves, right? A small higher low before the breakout, or in this case here, that small little pullback before the breakout. I've noticed that works wonders in the markets, and as you can see, that when we got that small lower high, we broke, and then we had just a really big flush down. But on the overall big picture here, let's actually auto size this for a minute. Let me just minimize that. We don't need that anymore. This actually could be the end. This actually could be massive end of trend type of indicator. All right, and a massive, because we've got support, and then the flush down. Now we're coming back up. Look what's happening here. The buyers are coming back in. So are we? Maybe. I'm not saying we are, but leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. We have been in a period where we've been consistently dragging down, right? The 10-year lower. Are we about to start to see a switching where we're starting to see an overall trend of back to high interest rates like they were back in the 1980s? Like, I remember back in the 1980s here in Australia, my dad, he lost his house, like 17% interest rate or something like that. Just crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. Oh. Okay, so absolutely crazy, right? So we're getting that here. And the big thing I'm looking at here on the interest rates, guys, is if I go from that low point to the high point. Oh, wrong one. No, I don't want to buy it. I don't use this platform to trade anyway. I use, for my stock and options, I use Interactive Brokers. I actually use that web trader platform. That's what I use to trade. I don't know, do you guys use Interactive Brokers? Leave a comment below. Do you use the Trader Workstation or do you use a Web Trader? Web Trader is very simple for me, but it's actually going away. So now I'm going to start using the Trader Workstation, and it freaks the hell out of me. I'm like, oh, too many buttons. Web Trader is so simple. So leave a comment below. Do you guys, what sort of platform do you use? Do you actually use Interactive Brokers? Do you use the Trader Workstation? Were you actually in the same boat where I am right now? I know I have to transfer in like a week. Actually, that's pretty scary. But it's just like, oh, I don't want it, but I know I have to. So anyway, look at this here, guys. We have a look at the Fibonacci level as well too, from what's happening right now, breaking down. And this is probably the reason why we're starting to get a pretty knocking effect on what's the word for it? A pretty big knocking effect on a lot of the tech stocks lately, anyway. So we can see through here, right? We can see that we definitely had a pullback. Look where we actually pulled back to from the major low to the major high, only 30%. If I went to this point through here, look what happened through here. Right? It came down to the exactly right on the 50% level. 50% is the big one for me anyway. So let me actually just take off the 38. Take that off as well too. We don't need any of those as well. Actually, 50% is the one. 6.8. Yeah, and that'll be the one that I want to use. Apply default. Ah! What did I just do? Alright, I'm trying to save it. How do I save this thing? You guys are probably sitting there saying, John, click the button. Click that button. Save as. You know, I'm just going to keep that there anyway. So the big one is the 50% for me. You can see, look at this here. Big move down, held the 50%, and now we're moving up. That's pretty dangerous, guys, right? Because if we're looking at this right now, and this is where, like, what are the interest rates doing, right? Because if the interest rates hold here and reject and break back below here, then we're going to create what? We're going to have a high, then we're going to create a lower high, and if we do that and then break down, if we do that, guys, yeah, then you're going to see, okay, a continuation of the bear market coming back down. But if we hold, remember this major long-term, remember this level through here was what? Remember that was that long-term support level. And then look what's happening here, right? Rejection, rejection, we're even rejecting it. Now this is the weekly chart, remember, guys, on the interest rates. So now we're bringing it back up. So if we do continue to break above new high, then where's my extension tool? Where's my Fibonacci extension? So if I go to the extension tool and I go from the low to the high, down to the low, and let me just, again, the big one for me is, the big one for me is not 16.8, actually, we'll go to that one there. It's really the 1-to-1 that I'm looking for, that I'm mainly focused on, 1-to-1 and a 6.18. So let's actually bring this down to here, so that's a 1-to-1, right? Yeah. So that'll be a 1-to-1 there, and then the 16.8. Actually, is that right? Let me just double check on that one there. I'm doing this live on the spot, as you can see, guys. So just from there to there, I'm pretty sure that's it. So that's the 1-to-1 really is it. The 1-to-1 really is just a whatever the big move up before the pullback, you just do that. Oh, wrong one. And then you just grab a pole and then you extend it out like that there to there. And then that's going to be the 1-to-1. Yep, so that is the 1-to-1. So if you're looking to do an extension of where it's likely to go to, then that'll be it there. But you can see it's interesting to see this 1-to-1, that angle of high to low. That was the angle. So if we do continue up from here, we're probably likely to hit that, which is what? Also a long-term trend line that's coming back down as well too, which is really interesting. So this actually could be, we may be forming a major bottom in the interest rates, and we may be starting this, because you guys, right now we're going through a major low interest rate period, right? We know everything goes in cycles, so we're going to go through a big, we know there's, things don't stay low forever, and when things crash, they go back up, and when things boom, they do the whole seesaw thing, right, in life. So maybe, just maybe, this is the last capitulation in these interest rates before we start to see over the next couple of years, instead of a bear market overall in interest rates, maybe we're going to start to see a bull market in interest rates. Maybe we're going to start to go back to high interest rate period, just like we were back in the 80s when my dad lost his house because of the interest rates. So anyway, I just went on a tangent on the interest rates. So there you go, guys. And a good with you guys with Bitcoin as well too. This is for you guys that love the Bitcoin. Let me actually show you a bit of a Bitcoin update. Few major things here. Firstly, the trend is your friend until the end. Weekly charts, okay? Weekly charts. So we have low, higher low, and now we're getting another higher low through here. So the market is clearly had a move up. We just had a very strong pullback, but now higher low, and now it looks like we could be getting ready to do that. So the weekly chart, very strong on the upside. Now also, I'm actually just doing this on the fly, guys, right now. The stuff you do when you don't, I didn't even plan to talk about this sort of stuff, but there you go. Hope you guys enjoy this. Man, my voice is going out. So one thing I'm looking at here, guys, is very, very interesting. Notice what we're seeing through here, guys. Notice in a big bull market, we have a strong move up, but then we get these weak pullbacks. Strong move up, weak pullback. Look what's happening here. Interesting. Strong move up, but notice how we're getting a very, very, very weak pullback, and now we're just breaking out now. That's actually quite bullish to the markets, guys. Very, very, very bullish overall. We've got a bit of a small downward movement. But let me go to the good old Fibonacci retracement tool once again, from the low to the high. Oh, cool. It kept the 50%. And look at that there, guys. Smack dead on the 50% level, and now we're rolling back up. So there's actually a lot of bullishness in the markets because we've got a strong move up and a weak move down generally equals a strong move up. So a 1-to-1 projection, just to keep it really simple. Remember I said before, from the high to the low of the first move, to the first move up before the pullback, if we just project that out, we can actually see, oh, there you go, all-time new high. So maybe, just maybe, Bitcoin's now breaking out. We're now looking to see an all-time new high move. This is actually very, very, very bullish in Bitcoin, guys, right now. And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys across the markets. Going back to the good old stock market here. Stock markets, we're likely to continue to see a small downside to come. But the big picture here, guys, is this. The big picture, the overall picture is this. We're probably going to continue down a bit more now out of the markets, and man, sometimes when you're talking, you're like, say this, no, say this. It's like, it's like, oh my goodness. So anyway, so the thing we're looking at right now when it comes to the markets is that this pullback is going to be a pullback, and that's it. It's not going to be a crash. We're not at the top of the markets. Not yet, guys, okay? Not yet. Just think about this, okay? We're pulling back right now. We've probably got another, maybe, I would expect to see another 4 or 5% movement on the downside. Maybe. And then guess what? That's going to be like that's going to be that thing there. Watch when they start to do the QE. 2008, they did the QE, big move up. Last year, they did what? $3-4 trillion of QE? What happened to the stock market 12 months later? Interesting. They're about to do a $3.5 trillion package. Once that get passed, I wonder what's going to happen to the stock market. It's going to crash, right? Because, if you do the same thing over and over again, you can't expect the same result, can you? Right, Harry Dent? Right? Just look at the nature of the beast right now, okay? But put it this way. They may not pass that stimulus package to next year. So that's where we are right now. So I continue to see more weakness coming in the markets overall. But I do see once we get that pullback, the market's going to come back in and then the reflation begins. So hope this helps you out today, guys. Put in reflation is the man in the chat box below. That shows me that you actually just finished the video. Reflation is the man. Or if you're a woman, say reflation is the woman if you're a woman, right? And hope this helped you out today, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.